Hello dear decorators. Let's dive into the wonderful world of vintage-style living room decor. Picture this. You walk into your living room and immediately feel like you've stepped back in time to a cozy, charming era full of character and nostalgia. That's the magic of vintage decor, my friends. So, how do you achieve this timeless look? Let me break it down for you. First things first, let's talk about furniture. Vintage-style living rooms often feature pieces from past decades that exude charm and elegance. Think mid-century modern sofas with sleek lines and tapered legs, or perhaps a tufted Chesterfield sofa for a touch of old-world luxury. Pair these statement pieces with vintage-inspired armchairs upholstered in rich fabrics like velvet or tweed. Don't forget about the coffee table. Look for a sturdy wooden table with vintage details like carved legs or a distressed finish to tie the room together. Now onto the accessories. This is where you can really have fun and add personality to your space. Vintage-style living rooms are all about the details, so be on the lookout for unique finds like retro table lamps, decorative mirrors with ornate frames, and vintage-inspired artwork to adorn your walls. You can also incorporate vintage textiles like throw pillows and rugs to add warmth and texture to the room. When it comes to color schemes, vintage-style living rooms often feature muted tones and earthy hues reminiscent of days gone by. Think soft blues, warm browns, and dusty pinks paired with accents of brass or copper for a touch of glamour. Don't be afraid to mix and match different patterns and textures to create visual interest and depth in your space. Now, let's talk about the advantages of having an optimally decorated living room. First and foremost, a well-decorated living room can enhance the overall ambience of your home and make it a more inviting and comfortable place to relax and entertain guests. It can also reflect your personal style and interests, serving as a showcase for your unique taste and personality. Furthermore, a thoughtfully decorated living room can have a positive impact on your mood and mental well-being. Coming home to a space that feels warm, welcoming, and aesthetically pleasing can help reduce stress and promote a sense of calm and tranquility. Plus, it's always a pleasure to spend time in a space that you love and feel proud to show off to others. In addition, an optimally decorated living room can also add value to your home. Potential buyers are often drawn to homes that are beautifully decorated and well-maintained, so investing time and effort into decorating your living room can pay off in the long run if you ever decide to sell your home. Vintage-style living rooms offer a unique blend of nostalgia and sophistication that can't be replicated with modern decor alone. One of the key advantages of this style is its versatility. Whether you prefer the elegance of Art Deco, the simplicity of mid-century modern, or the cozy charm of farmhouse chic, there's a vintage-inspired look to suit every taste. Another advantage of vintage-style living rooms is their ability to tell a story. Each piece of furniture, every accessory, and every decorative detail has a history and adds to the overall narrative of your space. Whether you've curated a collection of antique finds or simply incorporated vintage-inspired elements into your decor, your living room becomes a reflection of your personal style and interests. In addition, vintage-style living rooms offer endless opportunities for creativity and self-expression. From scouring flea markets and thrift stores for one-of-a-kind treasures to DIYing your own vintage-inspired decor, there's no shortage of ways to put your own unique stamp on your space. Plus, mixing and matching different eras and styles allows you to create a look that is entirely your own. But perhaps the greatest advantage of all is the sense of nostalgia and comfort that vintage-style living rooms evoke. There's something inherently cozy and inviting about surrounding yourself with items that harken back to a simpler time. Whether it's curling up with a good book on a vintage-inspired sofa or gathering with friends and family around a beautifully aged coffee table, vintage decor has a way of making you feel right at home. Vintage-style living rooms also offer sustainability benefits. By choosing pre-loved or vintage items, you're reducing the demand for new furniture and accessories, which helps lessen the environmental impact of manufacturing and transportation. It's a win-win situation. You get to enjoy beautiful and unique pieces with character, while also contributing to a more sustainable lifestyle. Moreover, vintage-style living rooms can serve as conversation starters. Guests will be intrigued by the stories behind your vintage finds and the eclectic mix of styles in your decor. Sharing the history and significance of each piece can create meaningful connections and enrich social interactions in your home. In terms of practicality, vintage-style living rooms can be quite resilient. Many vintage pieces were built to last, crafted from high-quality materials and with sturdy construction. While they may show signs of wear and tear, this only adds to their charm and authenticity. Plus, with a little care and maintenance, vintage furniture and accessories can continue to bring joy and beauty to your living space for years to come. Vintage-style living rooms offer a sense of timelessness. Unlike trendy decor that may quickly go out of style, vintage-inspired designs have enduring appeal. By choosing classic pieces and timeless color schemes, you can create a living room that feels relevant and stylish for years to come, regardless of passing fads and trends. First off, when it comes to furniture selection, prioritize quality over quantity. Look for well-crafted pieces made from solid wood or sturdy materials that can stand the test of time. Don't be afraid to mix and match different styles and eras for an eclectic yet cohesive look. Consider reupholstering vintage chairs and sofas with modern fabrics to give them a fresh update while still maintaining their vintage charm. In terms of accessories, focus on incorporating authentic vintage finds alongside vintage-inspired pieces. Hunt for unique treasures at flea markets, antique shops, and thrift stores to add character and personality to your space. Vintage mirrors, lamps, and artwork can all make wonderful statement pieces that help tie the room together. When it comes to color schemes, opt for muted tones and earthy hues that evoke a sense of warmth and nostalgia. Soft blues, warm browns, and creamy whites are all excellent choices for creating a vintage-inspired palette. Consider adding pops of color through accent pieces like throw pillows, rugs, and artwork to add visual interest and depth to the room. As for lighting, vintage-style living rooms often feature a mix of overhead lighting, table lamps, and floor lamps to create a warm and inviting ambience. Look for fixtures with vintage-inspired designs like brass or copper finishes, frosted glass shades, and intricate detailing to add a touch of elegance to your space. Don't forget about the finishing touches. Incorporate vintage-inspired textiles like lace curtains, embroidered throw blankets, and plush area rugs to add texture and coziness to your living room. Consider displaying cherished heirlooms and family photos alongside your vintage finds to add a personal touch to your decor. Vintage-style living rooms offer a perfect blend of nostalgia, sophistication, and comfort that can't be beat. By incorporating vintage-inspired furniture, accessories, and color schemes, you can create a space that is as unique and stylish as you are. So why wait? Start hunting for those vintage treasures and transform your living room into a timeless masterpiece today. Overall, decorating your living room in a vintage style can be a fun and rewarding experience. By incorporating vintage-inspired furniture, accessories, and color schemes, you can create a space that is full of character, charm, and nostalgia. So go ahead, unleash your inner vintage enthusiast and transform your living room into a timeless masterpiece that you'll love for years to come.